Hey y'all, she's back. Yes, red is the thing. Excuse my broken nails. It's a wild Scorpio season. And Scorpio's a water sign, but it's like a boiling water sign. Because right after Scorpio season is Scorpio season junior. Shout out to Sagittarius. Who knows what the instrumental is I'm playing today? Let me see if I can get my voice together. Fire, take you higher. Kiss, something. I don't remember the words. This was like a decade ago or more. Rest in peace to Aaliyah. She's a Capricorn. Alright, Capricorns live tough lives. We're going to talk a little bit more about these planets in Capricorn, but soon they're moving. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the lovely fire sign, Sag. We'll talk about its opposition sign, Gemini. We'll talk about all the obsessions of Venus and Scorpio. I'm going to throw a little bit of aspects, vocabulary with y'all tonight so y'all know what I'm talking about more often. And we're just going to make it hot like fire. Thank you for joining Addicted to Astrology with TMZ. Y'all ready? All right, welcome to Addicted to Astrology with TMZ. It is, like I always start around the 11 o'clock hour. So it is November. It is Saturday, November the 28th, going into Sunday, the November the 29th. Y'all have to forgive me. I am like a little congested from my allergies and stuff. There's a lot of dust coming out of my heater, and I like heat. It is fire season. It is also close to winter, so I'm still getting adjusted to, even though I've been out of the West Coast for a year and some change now, my body's still getting adjusted. All right, today I really want to start with some aspects. Aspects are the transitions that planets make. Planets make transitions in degrees. That is why degrees are important when you look at your birth chart, as well as talking about the forecast of each day. Just like a weather forecast, astrology has a forecast too. So there are a few transitions that I want to talk about. So I want to give you the vocabulary of those transits. I have talked about this before, but because I'm doing transits a lot more than I have in the past, and this is going into my 6th or 7th month. I actually started in Taurus season, so I went through all the fire signs except Aries, which is the first sign. The first sign is fire sign. And we are now in the 3rd realm of fire season, the 3rd and final sign, Sagittarius. So I want to talk about sextile first, which is an aspect. Sextiles at 60 degrees of planets aligned at 60 degrees of each other. Sextiles are positive generally. They are the ability to mostly create positive results. So when you talk about sextiles, you're usually talking about planets that are the same elements. Water signs, sextile with other water signs, like Pisces would sextile with Scorpio, or Cancer would sextile with Pisces. Those are the water signs. The earth signs are Capricorn, Virgo, and Taurus. Fire signs, Aries, Leo, and Sag. And air signs, Gemini, Aquarius, and Libra. So usually those elemental signs make sextiles. There is exceptions for everything. Y'all see my broken pinky and my totally gone middle finger. All right. Trine. Trines are at 120 degrees, which is the double up of a sextile. This creates opportunity for creative outlets, and these happen between the modes. Modes are mutable signs, which are Pisces in its opposition sign of Virgo, and Gemini is in its opposition sign of Sagittarius. We're going to be talking about mutable signs, that mode, a lot today. Excuse me. The cardinal signs are Libra and Aries, those opposition signs, as well as Capricorn and Cancer. And finally, the fixed signs. Whew, those fixed signs, that's my sign. Scorpio in the opposition sign of Taurus, as well as Leo in the opposition sign of Aquarius. I'm jumping ahead just thinking about fixed signs. Thank goodness we are in mutable signs, which is where the North Node and the South Node, and we're going to talk about nodes today too, and I'm going to give you the vocabulary on nodes again really quick. Thank God the nodes are in. I remember when I started this series, this channel. Well, I started this channel 3 years ago, but I started this channel becoming an astrology channel because that is what I wanted to go into. Investigative information, which we'll talk about with Gemini. Scorpios like investigative information too. And mutable signs like change. Fixed signs don't. And I'm a fixed sign. But I have a few mutable signs in my chart, so it helps me actually. Especially with my cardinal sign that likes to be independent, my Capricorn moon. Had to throw that in there. All right, let's go back. Let's come back to vocabulary. Square, 90 degrees. Squares bring conflict. It's time to push through and structure this conflict when you have a square. Squares we've talked about several times. So I know I've gone over this vocabulary with you. It's been a lot of squares this year. A lot of conflict. Opposition signs, excuse me, are 180 degrees, which is exactly, 6 signs from each other. Each sign is 30 degrees. Opposition can raise issues and bring awareness at the same time. They are definition to issues. Whatever issues you have are probably on the same coin, same team. You just have to figure out the way to get the energy to blend, which is a conjunction. Conjunctions are at 0 degrees, less than 2 degrees. We're going to talk about the Great Conjunction coming up in the next episode after this one, but I will do a little preview of that too. Conjunctions are blended energies. It could be good, it could be bad. Emphasis on new beginnings and inner energies, concentrating on those. One other quincunx is not talked about a lot, but we do have a few in the forecast going on right now, is a quincunx. Quincunx is 150 degrees. It does not share elements or modes generally. Another word for quincunx is in conjunction, inward conjuncting, inward blending. It is connected to, it's like you are facing, the planets are not facing each other. Their backs are to each other. It's like relatives that have to talk or are forced to talk and work things out. I'll give you a quick clip of signs that are quincunx. And I'm definitely going to talk about a quincunx with Scorpio, and that is Gemini. Look at this. Okay. So, hope you saw what I noticed about that clip, and you saw how you operate with another sign that is very significant, especially Scorpio and Gemini. So we'll get back to that. But birth charts and the understanding of the planets, let me go through those real quick. The sun is how you express yourself. The moon is your emotions and how you react the way you do. Your ascendant, you might hear this, is also called a rising sign. Rising sign is how you come across to everyone else or how everyone else views you. Mercury is how do you communicate. Venus is how you love or how you see beauty. Venus is in Scorpio. We got to talk about that too, because I have been living my best life with Venus and Scorpio. Mars is how you take action and express your angers or how you are passionate. Jupiter is where you're most confident and what you're lucky with and how you expand. Saturn is what makes you feel anxious how you realize your authority and power, or it can also be how authority takes over you on low vibing aspect. Uranus and all the planets after Uranus. So those first planets are the ascendant is not a planet, it's an asteroid. I mean, not an asteroid. I said that wrong. Is it an asteroid? Anyway, it's not a planet. But the first planets I named are the inner planets that have to do with you working on yourself personally. The next three are the outer planets, and the outer planets have to do with the collective or generations. They tend to move slower. Uranus is how you are rebellious or how you shock the world. And Neptune is where you lose touch with reality and how you grow from it or how you excel from it. And then Pluto is where you feel powerless and where you need significant transformation. And those are the collective outer planets. Then we talk about Lilith, which is in religion and astrology. Lilith is the, again, she's the first wife of Adam. I'm not going to go too far on it, but Lilith is your shadow side and what you repress and you need to express eventually. Chiron is the great healer. Chiron is an asteroid, I do believe. How you heal. And then the midhaven is your life achievement. Then we have the nodes, the south node and the north node. The south node is like your karma, where you come from, your experiences. And the north node, which is this opposite. Those south node and north nodes have to do with opposition signs always. They're always in retrograde because they go backwards. The north node sign is your destiny and where you're going to and what you're achieving. It can be based on you on your birth chart, and it is always in the collective as well. It comes from the moon, actually. So this is why it's important to know what time you're born so you can know what north nodes are affecting the moon and the houses that are on your birth chart. I think that's all for the vocabulary of the day. Hopefully I didn't bore you and I went through that quickly. All right, today we're going to go through the past week really quickly, starting with today a little bit. So today Neptune went direct. Today is again November 28th. We are going to the 29th. It is actually is the 29th. It is 12:07. I'm looking at my clock now. So happy Sunday. We're beginning a new week, but let's talk about the previous week. So after 5 months, because Neptune is an outer planet and it moves slower, we've had this Neptune in retrograde. Retrograde again, talking about vocabulary, means you're reviewing, you're rewinding, you use that prefix re, you're going over things, you're learning lessons, you are discovering how you're not going to do the same thing twice, because it'll keep teaching you until you learn. So that's a retrograde. All the planets were in retrograde this year. There's only one planet finally left in retrograde now, and that's Uranus. That's a big deal, but Uranus, it's so tricky that it doesn't matter if it's in retrograde or direct. But when planets do make the change from retrograde to direct or direct to retrograde, it's a big situation. It's a big thing going on. So Neptune is the planet of dreams, illusions, higher level thinking, lower vibing, lots of extremes from one into the other. Subconscious beliefs, illusions, delusions, deceit. It could also be about dreams and imagination. So the high vibing part of Neptune is your dreams will come true. You'll have a better flow of imagination. You'll have greater ideas and they will stick. One aspect transitioning is Mercury trining Neptune. Remember, trine again is a creative. Neptune is at home in Pisces. Pisces is in a water sign. It's a creative sign. It has to do with creation and imagination. And it is trining, so this is a good transition. Mercury is in Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign like Pisces. That is why it's trining. Investigating, going deep with Scorpio. Mercury is the planet of communication. Going with Neptune, that is better flowing ideas. This can be a good time to dive deep into your passions and into your creative energies. One thing that is helping the flow of newer ideas currently this week that is not so brought out because of some of the Sagittarius node, and we'll discuss that later, is voter fraud. Voter fraud is helping the flow of newer ideas, and success is coming in because there are people deciding on if they are going to, for humanity, decide on changing the way we have been doing elections because we possibly have been doing them incorrectly. The planets Saturn and Jupiter are going into Aquarius in December. So tying into all that, as well as it being eclipse season, you're at a relaxed, higher communicating, also going into air Aquarius. These two planets, so Saturn and Jupiter, are going into Aquarius. And Aquarius is more relaxed, high communicating, greatness over humanity, and all this will be tying in to the end of December. So we're kind of in the transition. May not feel like it because a lot of people are not aware of it unless you are checking out astrology or civil news. All right, let's go backwards. So on 11/25, November 25th, that was last Tuesday, I believe, Venus was quincunx, there's our vocabulary word, was Chiron in Aries. So Venus is the planet of love. It is in Scorpio. Venus in Scorpio is really passionate, over-the-top, intensive, obsessive ways of love or loving. It could be that tie me up and dominate me type of energy. It's definitely bonding type relationships, and I personally have definitely been taking advantage of it, and it's fun. My Venus is in Scorpio on my chart, so woohoo, my sex life is off the chain right now. Coming straight out of Scorpio season. It's also a little toxic because I'm still messing with a few exes. All right, so with Chiron, the healing asteroid, Chiron is in Aries, which is that selfish yet aggressive and passionate, and it's also ruled by Mars, like Scorpio. Chiron heals relationships, so you're using sexuality for healing relationships. This is so me right now because, again, I'm talking to exes. Don't want to have sex with them because they're exes, but somehow it's working out to bring us closer together. Call me crazy. All right. On November 26th, traumatic change because Mercury will be sextiling Pluto. November 26th was Thanksgiving. So yeah, 11/25 was Wednesday, I'm sorry. November 26th was Thanksgiving. It was a sextile, which means it was a good time, again, for working things out. Mercury sextile Pluto. Mercury, again, is in Scorpio as well at 23 degrees, and Pluto is in Capricorn at 23 degrees. Pluto is the slowest moving planet, so it will remain in Capricorn for a while. But those two are the water and the earth signs. So deep, intense energy coming from Mercury and Scorpio. You're diving deep into information with Mercury, the communication planet. Detective work. It's like staying in it until you get the truth told. Then tying in with the energy positively from Pluto. Pluto is also the ruler of Scorpio. Transformative energy with wealth and power. Honest, uninhabited energy. This is good because, again, we're in a time where we want to know how to transform ourselves, how to go to the next level. November 27th, Venus opposes Scorpio at 8 degrees, Uranus in Taurus. So Scorpio and Taurus, again, are opposite signs. This is good and bad. This is shaking up, Uranus is shaking up things, surprises, rebellions. Venus, again, is the planet of love. Relationships that need work, because, again, opposition signs can be good because it's helping you work together to get the harmony that you want out of opposition signs. So relationships that work, because Scorpio is a relationship sign as well. You're getting to the root of problems, or you're basically talking things out and getting them to the next level. This can be also financially, also helping you learn how to work with money better. Venus is also the planet of money and beauty, not just love and sex. So I do want to say on Friday, that was November 27th, yesterday, technically, last night, my sister came by. We just saw each other in Atlanta, but we didn't get to spend much time together. So she was here because she's from Annapolis and, I'm in DC. And she read some of my book I wrote that I haven't published, and I wrote it 2 years ago about our dad. We kind of, I definitely want to say that she was surprised at some of the things that were in my book. She didn't know that it was so intense. She didn't know the love that I had for my father was so intense that even though the book is kind of making him looking not in the best light, but we all kind of know he was not in the best light in his earlier life. And it's helping us work through the problem of me getting it out so that I could feel better and I don't harm my father because he's still living. And, I don't put his name in vain. So we kind of are working on that and brought that to each other's attention on Friday. I guess that transition helped us. Venus opposing Uranus. Now, Saturday, again, Neptune on the November 28th. It is the 29th now. We're 17 minutes in. Neptune goes direct on in Pisces at 18 degrees. So 18 degrees is the second realm. We're like in the teenage level. What's the word I'm looking for? Not the master, not the beginner, but the intermediate level, right? So again, Neptune is an outer planet. Retrogrades last longer for outer planets. And it is more over the collective versus the individual. So this was a spiritual awakening with Neptune going direct. This will help our creative expressions again. Those are the higher level of things, like we're all becoming more conscious, more aware. Those are the higher levels and benefits of Neptune going direct. We're in the shadow period now, so it'll take time. However, the lower energy of Neptune is what we have learned, hopefully, from the retrograde that we just came out of. Substance abuse, escapism, not wanting to really find the truth in things, victimizing yourselves. Those kind of energies, hopefully we just learn from it, where we can awaken and creatively move forward. This does affect mutable signs, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, and Sagittarius, on your birth chart in between 15 and 21 degrees, which was so interesting. Again, going back to that Venus, which one was it, y'all? The Mercury trining Neptune. No. Venus quincunxing, sorry, y'all. That Venus quincunxing Chiron. When I say that I'm healing from, I'm healing with the use of love and sex, of exes. So, getting back to that, looked over my mutable planets that I have. I have 2 planets in Sagittarius. I have Lilith in Gemini. Nothing in Pisces. I have something on like the cusp of Virgo. My Leo and Saturn is at 29 degrees and 55 minutes, which means technically I'm Saturn in Virgo on 0 degrees. So, but I'm talking about the 15th degree to the 21st. So I was looking at my exes, and I'm referring to's chart, and not only is he a Sagittarius birthday coming up, his sun sign is in between that 15 to 21 degree mark. Had a few other, he had about 8 mutable signs. About 8 mutable signs in his birth chart. And everybody who does have mutable signs between 15 degrees and 21 degrees in your birth chart will be affected by this full moon in Gemini coming up tomorrow. The North Node and the South Node in Gemini. The Sun in Sagittarius. So there's a lot of immutable energy going on right now. A lot of change. Mutable definitely means change. Signs that are easy to adapt. Okay, so again on November 28th, Mercury was sextiling Jupiter at 26 degrees Scorpio Mercury and Jupiter at 26 degrees Capricorn. We are 4 degrees away from Jupiter moving into Aquarius. So, again, Mercury and Scorpio, we've talked about that a lot because there's been a lot of transitions with Mercury and Scorpio going on this week. Mercury, again, could be a teacher planet, also learning. Jupiter is the religious planet, philosophy, meaning of life, so they both have to do a lot with learning. Then they're sextiling, so that is good energy to create good results. Great time for mental energy, meditation, delivering messages and information. Good time to get your point across. Then tomorrow, or today rather, on November the 29th, the Sun in Sagittarius at 8 degrees will quincunx Uranus in Taurus at 8 degrees. So the Sun, again, is your overall personality, overall the collective, is in a Sagittarius mode right now. And surprise, rebellion, all kinds of tricky incidences with Uranus still in retrograde, the only planet still in retrograde. Chiron is in retrograde too, but again, it's not a planet. It does affect us though. This transit will bring significant adjustments of your authentic self and your higher self. So Sun in Sag is your higher self. Uranus is your authentic self because Uranus teaches you how to be more rebellious in who you want to be and do what you want to do. That is all the transits going on this week. I do want to go and talk a little bit more about this full moon happening on the 30th, which is Monday. Because we're going into a new week, and boy, this is about to be a week. Every week, every day, every second of the day has been a week in 2020. Again, I am grateful for 2020 because if y'all have seen my transformation in 2020, I'm grateful. I'm awesome, and I'm ready for 2021. I'm not thinking anything negative. 2020 was not like others made it out to be for me personally, and I want to talk to you in these last few pages of notes that I have about how we need to kind of elevate our minds and thinking so we manifest better, and I blame it on a year. All right, so full moon in Gemini. First, the North nodes and the South nodes. The nodes are in Gemini and Sag right now, just like the moon and the sun. So the Sun, again, on November 30th, on Monday, and the moon in Gemini will be at, oh, I don't have the degrees down here, so I have to check back with y'all and let you know the degrees. The full moon is a time for manifesting and releasing. So it's not like the new moon when the episode I did before this was about manifesting on new moons. It's more about manifesting, because this is not only a full moon, but this is also a lunar eclipse, which is releasing and ending cycles. Again, the Gemini and Sag axes are representing the nodes right now. Gemini is similar to Sagittarius as opposition signs. We're talking about higher mind and lower mind. We're talking about how we perceive and believe things. We're talking about your ideal self, and you're releasing things that don't fit with you anymore, things you don't believe in anymore. You're seeking things, new things to believe in, possibly, or new understandings. You want to have more of an optimistic belief. You want to know what your truth is, what brings you joy. You want to know what is with me, basically. It's like I'm getting back into astrology from 5 months ago when I started working, and I just could only work. I'm getting back into realizing that I do have a book to publish, 2 actually, and then I have 1 to write. So I'm getting back into what I was aspiring to do at the beginning of this year, actually before Neptune went into retrograde. The North Node in Gemini is new skills, new ways to communicate, reinventing yourself. It's still destiny. North Node means the destiny, the way we want the collective to go. On your birth chart is the way you want yourself to go. Again, those who are born now have this on their birth chart, but not all of us. My North Node is in Libra. So it's my destiny to become more harmonizing between my relationships with people, to be more balance out my decisions, my actions. And I'm coming from Aries. This is my personal birth chart again. Aries South Node means I come from an aggressive background. I come from being selfish, putting myself first a little bit. I really wouldn't say that, because my Scorpio tendencies is kind of to work well with others too. Again, Scorpio and Libra are relationship signs. Going back to the collective now, all of us want to stay away from the South Node and Sagittarius energies, the lower energies. We want to relearn things. We want to, because Sagittarius is higher learning. We want to relearn, though, now. We want to put things into new perspective. We want to eliminate certain things, certain beliefs, certain things we just have done that need to be elevated from the past. So, Mercury rules Gemini, by the way. Again, Mercury's in Scorpio. So I'm going back to this vocabulary, quincunx. If you remember looking at the clip I posted of the signs that always quincunx each other, Gemini and Scorpio are both signs that quincunx because they are detective type of signs. Scorpios like to get into the deep, dark secrets of it all, and Gemini wants to know everything. The hows, the whys, the whats, the whens, the wheres. If this don't remind you of our presidential candidates. Don't get obsessed, though, because Scorpios get obsessed with however or whatever you are getting into, per se. For example, me, I'm heavy into the election fraud, everything is going on with the court hearings and stuff like that. If you are in the underground civil news world, there's a lot going on, especially this past week. And I have realized that I have been looking at more election news than I have been studying my astrology and getting back to coming to y'all and talking on this channel. So I need to control my obsessions, especially when these signs are quincunxing each other. Okay. The Gemini moon coming on November 30th tomorrow, and the Sagittarius sun for the next couple of weeks are opposing signs on the same team or on the same coin, right? It's like energetic and kinetic energy. Gemini has a curiosity, a restlessness about itself. It can be chasing its own tail, but it's like mental stimulation. It can also be hyperactivity. So it's like a lot of ups and downs. Gemini is also duality. It's laser focus as well, too. Now, Sagittarius is higher learning and beliefs. Again, the nodes are based on the moon. So the South Node in Sagittarius is your karmic side over the collective. It's known as the dragon's tail as well. And the dragon's head is known as the North Node, what you strive for the collective. We are in this axis, the Gemini and Sagittarius axis, for I believe 18 months. And the next, so we're like in the middle of it. So because we're in the middle of it, we're like at the climax. We're at the dark side of the Sagittarius before we transfer over to the higher side of Gemini, the dark side of Sagittarius. Whew. And this is so relevant right now. Just tell me in the comments if y'all relate. Preachiness, closed-mindedness, beliefs that there's only one way to something. The belief of propaganda, fear-mongering, news especially, giving you fake news, politically and socially, because Sagittarius has to do with politics as well, philosophical information, the doomers and the gloomers, negativity, lies and deceit. This is definitely Sagittarius men as well. Stop. This is dark energy. It's like the world is drunk on anger right now. And strong passions and beliefs of reality are kind of not where it should be. Period. With everyone. Even myself. I might believe in some of the conspiracy theories a little too much. They might not all be real. A lot are, though. The higher side of Gemini, once we move from this karmic portion as a collective, we move into the better. Nowhere to go but up, correct? North Node, higher side of Gemini. We're curious about other perceptions. We're ready for change. It has to do with that mutable piece, right? We can adapt well. We will adapt well to change and learning and understanding. Comes back all tied into that quincux of Scorpio and Gemini. Scorpio and Mercury wanting to get down to everything. And this moon in Gemini will illuminate it. This full moon will illuminate what the North Node wants. It'll illuminate what Mercury wants, because Mercury rules Gemini. So if Mercury and Scorpio is being illuminated by the Gemini full moon, it's quincunxing it. It's dealing with what has to be dealt with. You best believe it's going to be a busy week this week from this full moon on things that are going to come out and get dealt with. Best believe. All right, so Neptune in Pisces is not only going direct, but it's squaring the nodes like I've been talking about. So this is why I've been talking about the nodes leading up to this. Neptune is squaring, conflicting the nodes. Neptune is in Pisces, one of the mutable signs, squaring these other mutable signs, conflicting. It's like saying, do you want to adapt or not? Do you want to believe in this adaptation? Do you want to believe that we are addicted to some of our beliefs and we need to change them? Do you want to believe that we are relying more than often? We are lying more than often. We're being more deceitful than often. We are misinterpreting reality more than often. We are accepting hopelessness and escapism more than often. we're believing that it's only one way, and it's not. These are the issues with Neptune and Pisces squaring the nodes, both of them. However, squares can bring resolution because conflict is needed to be worked on. So, the higher end of Neptune squaring these nodes on the higher end, the North Node especially in Gemini, raises spiritual evolution. It raises consciousness. It helps manifestation. It helps us better our lives. It helps us tap into our inner truths to be able to interpret reality from fake. It helps us stay in our truths, live for ourselves, know that there's more than one way, realize some things need to be adjusted and some things need to be adapted to. It's so important. This is a definitely important square of all the... A lot of squares have been important this year. We're wrapping up before the Great Conjunction coming in December 21st. We need these transformations. We need these transitions that I've been discussing. The last time the 3 planets of Capricorn were together in conjunct, which are the planets Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto. The last time these were conjunct in Capricorn was 1200. The Great Conjunction where all the planets, kind of looking like my wall right here, all the planets will be aligned like they will be on December 21st, 2020, just in 3 weeks. All the planets have not been aligned like that in 6,000 years. Since the age of Aries, that will be. Because we're currently in the age of Pisces, moving into the age of Aquarius. And even though it's still like 1,500, 2,000 more years until the actual age of Aquarius, we have to make the transition, and it's going to take a while to transition billions of people on Earth. So we're moving into it now. We were moving into it actually since the 70s when they developed that song, The Age of Aquarius song. I think that was my first song I came out on doing these episodes. Anyway, Capricorn represents the breakdown and control of old systems and beliefs and getting ready for the new. Capricorn is at home in Saturn. It also is at home in Aquarius. It likes to structure itself and get itself working hard on a new future that Aquarius likes to take it into. So it's good for Saturn to be in Capricorn and in Aquarius. I'll have the date for you all by the next episode of when exactly it moves into Aquarius. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, faiths, and beliefs. It also represents Sagittarius. Better futures, and you're betting more on yourself because Jupiter is the planet of luck. So it is moving us in. And all these planets just came out of retrograde last month. Was it September, October? It's been a while. They've come out of retrograde. But remember, all the planets being in retrograde this year were just teaching us all lessons on every single thing that each planet means. So have you learned your lessons on how to structure or take authority over yourself with Capricorn being in retrograde in Saturn? I'm sorry, Saturn being retrograde in Capricorn. Did you learn how to expand your mind, how to have more trust in yourself, bet on yourself more with the retrograde that Jupiter went through in Capricorn? And with Pluto in retrograde in Capricorn, and all of them stopped again, the extremity of things, the transformation and death and coming back and rebirthing yourself. Did you learn anything from that retrograde in that aspect? Saturn again is like the law of reality, the denseness of reality. And going into Aquarius, humanity and Saturn itself wants us to grow up. It wants us to learn from the growing pains of the retrograde that has happened, work hard to create great accomplishments and successors with it in Aquarius. So I don't want to go too far into it, but it had a lot to do with the retrograde that just came out, and we're getting ready to go into in the next month, Saturn in Aquarius. You might have heard that we're going into the dark ages. We're not actually going into the dark ages. We're going into the golden ages. There's much more, especially going into everything Aquarius. There's much more humanitarianism coming together, working together after evolving, after learning. Aquarius also has to do with technology. They're supposed to be announcing the vaccine that is not mandatory, but if those want it, there's new technology that is like 95% rate for the new technology or vaccine or whatever for success with getting well quickly and stronger than ever with the vaccine for the cocoa virus. So I think that's exciting. I can't wait to see. Hopefully there's something for asthma or smokers like me. Anyway, the old has to release the new, and being that this is the lunar eclipse coming up on Monday as well with this full moon in Gemini, this is also a lunar eclipse, which means you're releasing to go into the new era. It is also an end of a cycle. It is also a better chance to manifest new things for this new world we're going into. So take advantage. I'm going to pour my water so I can put it up because the full moon shines right through my window. The winter solstice again on December 21st, 2020 is coming. The great conjunction of all the planets. As well as the new moon in Sag is coming right before that too. So it is eclipse season. Get ready. These are the times to place our attention on our emotions and controlling those, not letting them consume you, not letting your thoughts consume you. Set your intentions and manifest in a careful and meaningful way. Okay. Thank you all for tuning in. Again, I am TMZ, teaching everyone abundantly, empowering many. Zakia, enlightening every day. Hope you all have a wonderful week. I'll probably come back. Now that I'm trying to get back into these passions and things that I wanted to do, ultimately to get away from a job, I'll probably come back sooner than later. So stay tuned. Peace. Love y'all. Man, she really did give me some Pop Smoke.